26 liters of fluid inside your cells, and then 16 liters of fluid outside of your cells. So to memorize clearly, so let's say 55 to 60 liters are men, okay? And then 45 to 50 are women. So there are more men's blood than us. Okay, so let's see. Of course, we know that blood is a connective tissue. So at this point, so we have 5 liters of blood in the body. It makes up at least 80. No, 155. It's 5 to 6 and 4 to 5 liters. So, and then the cells in the blood are composed of erythrocytes or RBC or red blood cells. So leukocytes or white blood cells, WBC, and platelets are the megakaryocyte, the one that will make your blood clot so that you will not be bleeding. So if this is the whole blood, so the plasma is the fluid portion, and then the 4 elements will be leukocytes, white blood cells, erythrocyte, red blood cells, and platelets. So that's a sample that has not been centrifuged. When we centrifuge, when you centrifuge, you see that the fluid in the blood plasma is much more. It's 55%, and then the cells are 44%, and the Buffy coat, take note of what is Buffy coat. Buffy coat are platelets and leukocytes, WBC. Okay? Got it? Okay. So this is very important because what's Buffy coat? Buffy coat is leukocytes and platelets. Plasma are all the nutrients that you see, more so many proteins, and erythrocytes are basically red blood cells. Okay? Okay, so blood functions. So we have gas exchange, of course. Oxygen and carbon dioxide are being transported by the red blood cells. What's
I
this?
didn't do this. Your survey? I didn't do it.
What section are you?
A.
Both sections are A.
Oh.
645.
Oh, 645, sorry.
Who's 6-5? What's this?
It's fine.
Huh? Why is him? What section are you?
44.
Okay, give it to Chinko. Okay, so again, fluid distribution, because the plasma is the one that transports the nutrients that you eat, hormones, and so on and so forth. Oh my God. I'm this. What happened? People are just talking and no concentration. This is very important chapter.
It's okay, Miss. Go on, listen.
Huh?
I'm listening. They don't want to listen.
Huh?
They don't want to listen.
You don't want to listen? Okay,
I want to
just give me
listen.
exam
I'm
and let's go home.
interested. I need 100 tests.
We are only 23 and we have up to 36. And you want to pass? I'm giving you all the chances to pass. I'll give you extra of added points. Listen, please. So now, no talking there. So focus. If you don't want focus, if you want to sleep, be quiet. Don't snore. Okay? So immune function is to prevent diseases. Immune function is basically the white blood cells or leukocytes. Maintenance of body temperature, of course, the vasodilation and the vasoconstriction. When you vasodilate, or you expand the heat. When you vasoconstrict, the heat is preserved in your body. So something like that. Clotting, because we don't want to die of bleeding, so there is clotting mechanism, right? So, and then preservation of acid-base homeostasis, because the blood is a very good buffer. It has to stay 7.4 or 7.45. That's the average. That it has to be always that pH, because if it goes up, it goes down, becomes acidic, becomes alkaline, your proteins will be destroyed. Okay, so that's how it is. Stabilization of blood pressure. Blood pressure is very important. If you have high blood pressure, especially the older people, organs are overloaded. It is working so much. If your heart is working so much, if you have high blood pressure, the heart becomes big. We call it cardiomegaly. Or the kidneys will be damaged, the liver, or other parts of the body. So, okay, let's go first to the liquid of the blood. Okay, we call it plasma. So the plasma is in yellow color. So 90% of plasma is water. So that one that we drink. If you're not drinking properly with exact amount of water, so your plasma will be concentrated. Okay, it will not be 90% water, maybe 80 or 70, and then it will affect the circulation of the blood in your body. You might have some headache. So if you suffer from the headache because you forgot to drink, so this is the problem. The water is very low, or the plasma in your body or in your blood is very low. So it cannot be all the nutrients, especially the glucose, is not transported from all over your cells. Okay? Then the water is the one that causes viscosity. Of course, you know the egg albumin, right? The whitish. So it's a little viscous compared to clear water. So that's how it is when you say viscous. Viscosity increases if you have less water. It becomes thick. So it becomes thick if you have less water. So in the plasma, we have a lot of proteins. So 9% of that is our proteins. So like albumin, globulin, and so on and so forth. So these proteins are the one that determines the colloid pressure. The colloid pressure is that pressure that give us to the blood that will try to adhere or stick together. So it is an important pressure in the blood so that it will circulate very well. You have blood pressure, you have hydrostatic pressure, the pressure in the fluid, you have a colloidal pressure, and then you have the osmotic pressure. So this colloid pressure is about the plasma contents of the blood. So people, especially if you see the people in refugee camp, those children are very, very thin, and then they have very big belly. So these people have less proteins, and then there is problem with circulation. So the fluid stays somewhere localized in their body, and it goes into the belly. So they have very big belly. So that's how it is. So what are the proteins that you found in the plasma? Albumin. Immune proteins, the antibodies that we have that. Transport proteins, which we know in the plasma membrane study that, and the cladding proteins. Okay. Albumin. What is albumin? Albumin is the most number of protein in the plasma. So that's very important. Largest, and it's produced in the liver. It causes normal colloid and osmotic pressure. So you got to have exact amount of protein in your body. Otherwise, there will be imbalance of the movement of the blood in your body. Okay? Immune proteins. What are those? Those are the white globulins. Those are antibodies that we get from our parents when we are born, or those are the antibodies that we are vaccinated that are produced by our body because of the vaccine. So that's those are antibodies, and they are coming from the leukocytes. Transport proteins. We know these. We have studied these in our cell membrane. So we do have like hydrophobic molecules that can be transported through a protein because they cannot pass through the plasma membrane, correct? So the example, we have the alpha and beta globulins and lipoproteins. Lipoproteins is a combination of fat, lipo, and some protein. So remember our glycoproteins, remember our lipoproteins, so these are the ones that are found in the plasma. Clotting proteins are very important as well because platelets in general is a protein, so it has those factors. The proteins in the platelets are called factors. So you have those clotting proteins that produce blood clot, so that in injury you will not bleed it will make a plug so that the bleeding will stop. Okay? Small molecules in the plasma, 1% of that are small molecules coming from where? From glucose, amino acid, nitrogenous waste, ion, and dissolved gases. These are the ones that we eat, right? So when you say glucose, amino acids, these are carbohydrates, it's like protein in very, very minute form or absorbable form. Waste products of metabolism, creatinine, uric acid, and so on and so forth. Ions, calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, and so on and so forth. And of course, dissolved gases, which is carbon dioxide, and oxygen, which is also part of the plasma. Okay, so let's go now to the erythrocytes. Erythrocytes are red blood cells. The main function of the erythrocytes are to bring the oxygen coming from the lungs to all over the body and to take the carbon dioxide from your cells, product of metabolism, and bring it to the blood again, and then bring it to the heart, and bring it to the lungs, and you expire it, right? So the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide is in the lungs, but lungs and heart play together. They have to synchronize. Whatever is the oxygen coming from the lungs to the heart, to the blood, is important. At the same manner, there has to be a balance of carbon dioxide producing in your cells after metabolism, and then hand it over to the heart and then to the lungs. So that's how the role is. So let's go to the structure of the erythrocytes. It is biconcave. So when you say biconcave, it's like circle but flat, and then two on the sides are concave. So large surface area, there is no nucleus, enucleated, no organelles. So when there's no organelles, no nucleus, so red blood cells are not capable of mitosis. Correct? So when they're born, they die. So what happens is they are just produce, and the bone marrow, and then they die. They cannot multiply. Okay? Unlike your skin, your squamous cells are multiplying very rapidly. Not red blood cells. The red blood cells are produced in the red blood marrow. After it has finished its function, and after it gets tired, it will die. Okay? There is a graveyard of the blood in the body. It's your spleen. Okay? When someone has no spleen, the liver takes over. We call it graveyard. Good for them. They have graveyard. We also have graveyard, right? So we buy it even we're still living. Okay, that's what you call erythrocytes. So biconcave, no nucleus, no organelles. Okay, very nice. You're now listening, and it's already very quiet. So we're gonna let too. Okay, so erythrocyte contain enzymes, and then so that the oxygen will bind to the erythrocyte or red blood cell. But erythrocytes will have hemoglobin. The hemoglobin is the one that makes the blood red, okay? Because of the heme portion. The globulin, this is a protein found in the red blood cell. Without hemoglobin in the red blood cells, oxygen cannot attach, okay? And then we also need what? The inorganic element, iron, right? So if you lack hemoglobin, you lack iron, even though you have a lot of red blood cells, still you will become anemic, because the two elements, hemoglobin and iron, are needed so that erythrocytes will function to attach the oxygen and also the carbon dioxide. Okay, so if you look here, erythrocyte structure, biconcave, containing a cytosol. There is just cytosol or the cytoplasm or the fluid in the cytoplasm, enzymes and hemoglobin. So if you look here, so this is hemoglobin molecules and oxygen bound to hemoglobin. This is the cytoplasm, the fluid, and the enzymes. Okay, so in one erythrocytes there are millions and millions and millions of hemoglobin. In one hemoglobin, there will be millions and millions and millions of oxygen molecule that can attach to it. Okay? So that's how it is. Okay, so what's the erythrocyte structure? Hemoglobin, or 4 polypeptides, 2 alpha and 2 beta, and then you have the heme portion, which is a polypeptide. So that's how it looks like. When you take chemistry, you will study more of these, but in our case, we just want to know that you have your beta chains, the alpha chain, and then your heme group, and then attached is the iron of it, because iron is important. Okay, here are the terms that you need to remember. What is oxyhemoglobin? Oxyhemoglobin forms a molecule called this when oxygen and hemoglobin binds together. Okay? Oxygen and hemoglobin is oxyhemoglobin. So that's how it looks like. Heme, this is oxyhemoglobin. Now, if the iron is attached, you call it deoxyhemoglobin. Okay? So now, another word, deoxyhemoglobin is released, oxygen forms these, and blood has the dark color because ferrous sulfate, or the iron, has been attached to the heme portion of the hemoglobin. Another word, carbamino hemoglobin. What is that? So when oxygen concentration are low, hemoglobin binds with CO2. There's now a difference, okay? O2 and hemoglobin, what? Oxyhemoglobin. CO2 and hemoglobin is? Ferrous and hemoglobin is? Deoxy. Okay, you have 3 words there. Another one, carbon monoxide. You know carbon monoxide death are so many, right? So carbon monoxide is a culprit to die, because somehow when carbon dioxide binds with the heme, okay, the oxygen cannot bind anymore to the erythrocyte. So in other words, carbon monoxide competes with oxygen that attached to the hemoglobin. So person dies because there's no oxygen, right? So because of the presence of carbon monoxide. So when the presence of carbon monoxide attached again to the heme, so the hemoglobin, you call it carboxyl hemoglobin. So how many terminology do you have? Oxyhemoglobin, deoxyhemoglobin, carbaminohemoglobin, and last is carboxyhemoglobin. Got it? Okay, so memorize that. Okay, next, let's see. Okay, let's see the erythrocyte formation. Okay, so how it is formed. So please remember, all of the blood elements, erythrocyte, leukocytes, platelets, are in the bone marrow. They are produced in the bone marrow. You know where are the bone marrows, right? Okay, so lifespan of the erythrocytes is 100 to 120 days. So when they're born, up to 120 days, they're very busy. They go around your body, bringing oxygen to your cells, and then taking the carbon dioxide, bring it to the lungs for exhalation, right? So they are very busy. So when the word hematopoiesis means process of production of all these elements in the bone marrow. So hematopoiesis occur in the red bone marrow, which houses the hematopoietic stem cells, or HSC. So those are stem cells found inside the bone marrow. So with this, before they become mature blood cells, so they will form colonies. So that's why we call it CFU, or colony forming unit. So at this point, when there are CFUs, so this is by the time there is already growth and development until the erythrocytes or other leukocytes will become mature. So erythrocytes, CFU, differentiate into pro-erythroblast. There is a hormone found in the kidneys that enhances the production of red blood cells. If this is not produced, a PO, so there will be no or lack of production of erythrocytes in the bone marrow. That's the reason why if someone has kidney failure, the kidneys are not functioning, So there is no APO. You expect the person to be anemic. Okay? So it needs some injection of EPO so that there will be red blood cell production in the bone marrow. Otherwise, if there is none here, so goodbye, you'll be a person is anemic. Okay. Erythroblast becomes erythroblast becomes hemoglobin in the protein. So this is the way how it is. From baby stem cell in the bone marrow, it becomes a stem cell here. This is the start. Becomes CFU, then become proerythroblast, and then become early erythroblast, becomes late erythroblast, becomes reticulocyte, and this is the mature erythrocyte. So in other words, reticulocyte is a girl, okay? And erythrocyte is already a woman. Or this is man, this is a boy. Got it? So that's how it is. So and then you just try to remember erythro means red blood cells. Okay? Erythrocyte is red blood, and blast means baby. This one is a boy or a girl. This one is an adult man or adult woman. Okay? Okay, very good. So we have that. So reticulocytes is the boy or the girl, right? And other remaining organelles, it goes into the sinusoidal capillaries of the bone marrow. And then the process is about 5 to 7 days until stem cell, erythroblast, up to the reticulocytes down, up into the erythrocytes. So it's the same process. So regulation is by negative feedback. So what is the stimuli? If your body is wanting to produce a lot of red blood cells, what's happening in your body? What do you think? Okay? So it is what? Lack of oxygen. Because it's the oxygen that is the one that is carried by the red blood cells. So if your body lacks oxygen, we call it hypoxia. So your body has the tendency to produce more red blood cells. So example, a person who goes to the very high altitude, right? And the very high altitude, who's from Nepal? Okay, high altitude, so there's thin air, right? So expect that you have more red blood cells than us here at the, what do you call it? Sea level. Because the stimuli is thin air. So it will produce more erythrocytes. So your erythrocyte count will be more. And what is the name when you count erythrocyte? Hematocrit. Okay? Hematocrit is a process where you can count red blood cells, so how many thousands, millions of them per hour. Okay? So that's how it is. So that's the negative feedback, concentration of oxygen. So I explained that already, right? Stimulus is a fall of oxygen. So less oxygen, even when you try to take a plane, you're at 37,000 feet, so there's a thin air. But in the plane, of course, it is being adjusted, right? The pressure. Here's a negative feedback, easy to understand. The stimulus here is blood oxygen decrease. Your kidney will produce erythropoietin, don't forget the EPO. Okay, and then with that, it's controlling system here, the erythropoietin, right? So in the bone marrow, it will produce, and then the blood count will already be normal. So the hematocrit count will be death. So as I told you, they die because they are exhausted. So their lifespan is how many? How much?
120.
120 days, yes. So 120 days, so sometimes it's equated like, if one red blood cell travels like 500 kilometers, and all over your body, you know, it's circulating your blood vessels, okay? So there's death. So they die again, where did I say? Spleen, right? So here is the death process. So erythrocytes is trapped in the spleen. So the macrophages of the spleen destroy it, disintegrate it, and then hemoglobin is broken down. Then when the hemoglobin is broken down, amino acid is released, the iron is released, and then bilirubin is released. So when these are released, it can go back to the bone marrow for reuse. Okay? So, but the bilirubin, it goes to the liver, and then the liver will excrete it through our body, in the kidneys. So the color of our urine, stercobilin, is coming from the destruction of hemoglobin. So we call it biliverdin, becomes bilirubin, becomes urobilinogen, becomes what? Urobilinogen. What did I say? What is the color of the urine? Stercobilin is the feces. Stercobilin is the color of the feces that comes also from your bilirubin. So urobilinogen, stercobilin, yellow color of your urine is from there. So our description of urine color is urochrome. Urochrome. So coming also from the bilirubin. So you will study that when you go to digestive system, but it's not an AMP1, it is an AMP2. Okay? So, good. So, I said that when there's no spleen, like you have there's a spleen, sometimes you have ruptured spleen, so something's wrong with the spleen. So it's taken out in your body, you're still alive. So it goes to the liver and it goes into the red blood bone and it dies there. So that doesn't have to worry. Yes, they have also a mechanism to die somewhere. Yeah. Okay, now anemia. Anemia is a general term when there is lack of mechanism wherein the oxygen is delivered into the cells. Okay, and there are different kinds of anemia. So here, the general term is decreased oxygen that will be carried into our cells. Decreased oxygen in the blood, generally speaking. So symptoms of anemia. I will have decreased oxygen delivering to the tissues. So these are the symptoms. Pallor. What's pallor? Pale, right? So fatigue. You get very, very weak. Fatigue and weakness is okay. Shortness of breath. You cannot breathe. Then you have elevated reticulocytes. What is a reticulocyte again? The girl.
Or the adult, huh?
Not the adult, the immature red blood cells. Okay, so the severe anemia may cause rapid heart rates. Oh my God, your heart will really become crazy, and it's fatal because of tachycardia. Yes. I do not know what's happening in your body, but in this case, very, very hard when you have rapid heart rate. Sometimes the blood causes clot in your body. You have a lot of clot. Okay, so different kinds of anemia. We have three primary causes. One is decreased amount of hemoglobin, the red color in your blood. And then another one is the decreased amount of RBC itself. Okay? And then another one is abnormal hemoglobin. Okay? So these are the three main. So let's go to the number one, decreased amount of hemoglobin. There are three choices there, or three causes. Letter A is iron deficiency. This is the most common, right? Even your age, it's very common. Iron deficiency. Then you eat that capsule iron. Oh my God. Your feces looks terrible, right? Okay. So that comes to play as well. Yes. So dietary iron reduces intestinal absorption and so on and so forth. So sometimes, if you have severe, what is called it? Amenorrhea, spasm when you have your period and then you bleed a lot. Dysmenorrhea, very bad. Okay, so you have the iron deficiency, you have that, and then anemia of chronic nature. So anemia of chronic nature is when somebody has chronic disease like cancer. So if a person has cancer for a long, long time, like 5 years, 3 years, then in remission and then cancer again, recur again and recur and recur. That's chronic, yes. So that's cancer, right? So it can cause also anemia. Other causes may be decreased hemoglobin or other vitamin deficiency like B6, certain drugs that will cause destruction of the hemoglobin. Okay, so the second one is hematocrit. So hematocrit is the number of red blood cells per ml. So we have again many different causes. Number one, blood loss, accident, right? So you get lost. Pernicious anemia, the cause is lack of vitamin B12. This is different from the other iron, huh? So this is about decreased red blood cells. So that is B12 deficiency because it interferes with the DNA synthesis of the vitamin cells there. Hemolytic anemia. Anemia, which will destroy the erythrocytes. Maybe due to bacterial infection, maybe autoimmune disease, liver, or maybe poisoning. Aplastic. Aplastic is totally, the red bone marrow cannot produce red blood cells. So maybe some medication will try to terminate the production of red blood cells in the bone marrow. So you call that aplastic. So now you know, hemolytic, aplastic, iron deficiency, vitamin B12 deficiency, and so on and so forth. Next, abnormal hemoglobin. So abnormal is a kind of mutation, problem with the DNA or RNA or whatever, the sequence of your genetic code in your blood. Sickle cell anemia. So you heard about that, right? Instead of being a normal biconcave round cell, it shapes like a moon. So this is genetic, yes. So that's as normal, and this is a sickle shape. Just imagine if a person has sickle shape, so there will be less surface area for oxygen and for hemoglobin, so that there is less, of course, delivery of oxygen to your cells. Okay, so that's a sickle cell, which we are talking about. Abnormal hemoglobin. In this case, again, ischemia, tissue damage. So how people live? How could they live? People with sickle cell. There is always this transfusion going on. Maybe every week, every month, every 2 weeks. It depends. Okay, but there are the symptoms there when there's already pallor, fatigue, weakness, increased heart rate. So that's maybe the time to get another blood because your blood turned into sickle, which cannot bind the oxygen in it. Okay, so this is the sickle cell. Yes, sometimes they form clots and block the blood vessels inside of it. See that? So it's also very harmful. See, we're in 24. So we finished the blood